Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's watch party for the 2002 version of The Time Machine. As always, I'm Andrew, and I'm joined by Dom. Welcome, Dom.
Hello, everybody. I am hyped to get into this film.
You're looking forward to this one. I am. It's one I really enjoy. Let's do a roll call in a second. Let's give you your sync point first, guys. So tonight's sync point is here, where it says DreamWorks SKG with a little trademark in the corner. About 20 seconds in on my copy, so we'll let everyone get ready. Right, over on YouTube, I can see we are joined today by Hell If I Know, Mad Matt, Brainwire, Phonic, welcome back Phonic, Jedi Wizard, Sharon, aka Dark Unicorn, Eric, Calbot, Immortal Rimus, Alan S1 are all joining us. I love this film, Dom, and I know you've not seen it. Some people either hate it, haven't. I think for a lot of people, it's either you hate it, you haven't seen it, or you have a real soft spot for it. It's quite diversive, and I think this is worth a reevaluation for those who haven't seen it. By yourself, as you said yourself, Dom, you're too cool for school for this, but your stepfather really likes this film.
He's been trying to get me to watch it for years, and
let me just make it clear: I am not Dom's stepfather.
You say that now? You bring this up to me on air? How could you? But yes, he's been trying to get me to watch it for years. I brought up the IMDb, I looked at the rating, and I immediately dismissed it, knowing full well that some of my favourite films of all time have bad IMDb ratings. But I was a little film hipster, and I was like, I won't watch a remake from the early 2000s. It's going to be terrible.
Exactly. Well, old Johnny Devitt welcome says, I saw this back in the day, and Sharon says, same, Calbot loved it, watched it a lot back in the day, and haven't seen it in a while. So let's do the countdown, and we'll get into playing this. So here we go. Okay, and that score we heard on the countdown by Klaus Belt, which I love the score to this film. It works really well.
You mean the score to James Cameron's Avatar?
It gets very Avatar when we get to the future, yes. But also, I like the fact this isn't an overlong summer blockbuster. It was a summer blockbuster in its day, or tried to be. 1 hour 35. It's not going to overstay its welcome.
That's brilliant. I miss 90-minute films. I really do.
Mad Matt saying who grew up the George Pal version.
Oh. I guess.
I mean, the big difference between this and the book and the original film of this is transplanted to New York from London, but I don't think it really hurts at all. I don't think it hurts the story.
Much like War of the Worlds, it's very interchangeable apparently. Was the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds in New York?
Ish, yeah. Upstate and wherever, yeah. Exactly. This one does have. There we go. James Hellier, welcome, James. Boston. Yeah, Boston for the War of the Worlds. But there we go. Dr. Alexander Hardigan. I'd like a name like Hardigan.
All the kids would make fun of you if you were a teacher with a name like Hardigan.
We need you to do... I mean, Guy Pearce is actually quite an accomplished actor, really.
He's sporting a mullet here.
Well, it's kind of his... Is this... What kind of year is this? Is it like 1800s? This is Edwardian, isn't it? This would be...
I suppose it is.
Was it Victorian era? I must have a look. What? 1899. Edwardian. Yeah.
Hell if I know. You miss blackboards? Really? Oh, man.
Well, it's nice to see Mark Addy, because Mark Addy had a brief flirtation with Hollywood roles.
I love that, turn of phrase. A brief flirtation with. It's so titillating. Pleasant.
Well, welcome, Scottish geek guy.
Hello.
But I also like what I also like about this is it fits really nicely in kind of the turn of the century and the explosion in technology. There we go. We see Simon Wells directed this. He's the great grandson of H.G. Wells, who wrote The Time Machine.
This is already winning me over purely because of osmosis. It's reminding me of that other film I had never seen that we watched that was around the same time zone as this film is presented. The Adventures of Young Sherlock Holmes. I'm getting flashbacks to that movie.
Parts of it. I like the fact that the housekeeper's having to tell her boss, basically being his surrogate nanny or mother.
Yeah. I now understand very directly why in Gremlins we see the time machine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting vibes of Gremlins just because of the toothbrush, the mechanical toothbrush that was created.
I would say, though, his kind of inventor's lab is giving me very strong Sherlock Holmes kind of vibes.
I know. Honestly, this set design is gorgeous. It's like the most steampunky set I've seen in a while.
But what I love about this is the excitement, and I mean, this is real. That was a real kind of plan of the city of the future. This is real artwork in the era, and we're seeing technology here that looks old-fashioned. But this is where basically, rightly or wrongly, there was no constraints on should we or shouldn't we invent things and make things. So it was a bit. Everyone got to go at technology. It was great.
Yeah, but we never got the Jurassic Park that I wanted. We got
no
other stuff instead. But hey, we're getting close to like virtual reality worlds with Disney's walking like platform floor.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it?
Looks so cool.
Yeah, the hollow tile. Yeah, Sharon saying cities won't ever get that crowded, right? Can you imagine New York being that empty now, as we're seeing here?
At least they built. Oh, this is just pleasant. I miss horses and carriages.
Yeah. But the score changes throughout the film. The thematic elements of the score remain, but it kind of changes as we go along. One of my father's friends is actually a millionaire and owns some cars like that in his collection.
Lucky sod.
Yeah.
Does he ever drive it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Immortal Remus is saying this is a rarity for me because I read The Time Machine before watching any adaptation. I think I saw the older one when I was 5 on television and saw this version probably 2 years after it was released on TV. I read the Time Machine before watching any adaptation as well. Unfortunately, I remember nothing of the book or the short story.
Oh, there we go. This is rhetoric we've heard before, a new form of transportation, and the legacy one mocking it, saying to stick with the old kind. Get a horse, keep with a petrol car.
Those things will never take off.
It's as if people don't like changes and modern technology. But it shows really, again, and that's one of the things with the film, it shows that no matter what time era you're in, people are still the same.
Oh, yeah. There's two kinds of people who are super hyped for the next big thing and people who are super pessimistic about the next big thing.
Yeah, and he's very much hyped for any technology.
I'm hyped to a certain degree. Things like AI scares me, but tech, like the hollow floor, that excites me to no end. I'm super hyped about that.
But Immortal Remus is saying, I wish there was a time machine film set in London, Victorian London, which is funny because Guy Pearce can put an English accent. Yes, he can. And James is saying the George Pell film is iconic and still stands up to this day and referenced or sequelized in everything from Time After Time to The New Adventures of Superman. Yeah, Guy Pearce is Australian, hell if I know. Jedi was just saying, I'm one of those that live to see where tech goes, but always respect where it came from. True.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing the next.
I don't think the hollow floor's watching you, Mad Matt. No, it's just a very clever movement system for the floor. Invented by one of the cleverest men in the world, who's an engineer. I forget his name. I'd have to look it up. But he, before eventually he became a Disney Imagineer, he worked for like Bell Labs, and one of his patents was to do with running fiber optic cables over a distance for internet usage in the 80s. So.
Oh wow.
Early founding stuff of data communications. He's literally, he goes in a room, he is the smartest guy in there.
I bet that would be a horrible existence, knowing that you're probably most likely.
But he's wonderfully kind of eccentric and fun.
Oh, good. He's that kind of smart. The crazy, the Willy Wonka kind of genius.
Yeah. Guy Pearce is always a good time. PTL 360, welcome.
To show you how what's the term? Contradictory I am in terms of technology. I've only just got a Kindle. I read like mad. I read the dead trees like crazy, and I've only just got a Kindle. Like, I've been hesitant to get one for decades at this point. And good God, I'm so glad I did. It's amazing. I love ebook readers now. I mean, I've had them on like my phone and my iPad, but it's different because the screen is not as bright, so it's not as harsh. It's not that separation from the actual book. God, what a ring. I couldn't help but while I was lurking in the woods.
Oh dear.
It's the most polite mugger I've ever seen. I've been needing your money now, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, but James, I think the love story that they added, I think Sharon, his ring and whatever, I think he comes from a wealthy family. I think that's the thing. But James, I think it's good because this provides him some good motivation for later in the film, or basically for why he builds the time machine. Yeah, Mad Matt's saying, I miss the days when robbers had etiquette and manners.
Yeah. These days, it's just, oi, give us your shit, mate.
I'd like to be, if I was going to be robbed, I would rather the gentleman have a bowler hat.
Yeah. Oh.
But James, I'm going to come back to that as we go along through the film, about your comment about the love story, etc. As we go through it, because there's some people who haven't seen this. I'm not going to spoil things yet, James, but I'll discuss that as it goes along with you. Yeah, that's a good point, Sharon. Losing the love of your life is a good motivator.
I do like that James is such a romantic and always saying, this love story, soppy crap, we don't need it. Of course, the blood against the white floor.
Blood and snow go together so well.
It does. Purity tarnished, forever damaged by violence. It's a powerful image.
That's true, Cal, but there was no child there to grow up to become Batman.
He had to become Bat Dad himself.
Yes.
Oh, Matt. I was confused for a half minute then. I was like, what? And then I remembered. This is your hitting your head on the toilet moment.
James is very much, it's not in the novel, it's not in the film, the original film, the story doesn't need it.
That's actually a good point. What adaptation has surpassed the source material? I swear I had a list somewhere, and I can't remember any of them.
But I'm all for adaptations where they alter something,
Hmm.
because why, if they wanted to do a remake, at least they've put a twist on it. They've altered it enough for themselves. Because if they're going to have the no motivation of the first film
Hmm.
for the time machine, then don't bother remaking it, and you'd never get new versions of films, or you'd get the
Yeah.
Psycho remake, which we all know worked really well.
Oh, yeah, that worked perfectly. There we go, James. Jaws. That's very fair. Yeah, Jaws is a great. Also, The Godfather. Yeah. The Mummy. I do prefer the 90s version than the Boris Karloff original.
Mad Matt saying, "Pray we don't alter the adaptation further."
Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, I
Mm.
prefer the film than the book.
The thing is, though, you can clearly see that he felt that within the context of this story, James, I'm going to go there. He clearly feels that he didn't, he was a little preoccupied with everything, not paying maybe her enough attention, etc. But he truly loved her. That's why he proposed, and all that happened. And now he's absolutely fall apart because, let's be honest, if you've just proposed to your love of your life and they've just been brutally killed in front of you and you've watched them bleed out, you possibly like to do something about it if you feel you could.
Hmm.
And it might make you a little bitter towards the world.
Did he genuinely lose weight for the rest of the film here, or
I don't
like?
know, but he looks, being Guy Pearce, he probably did, they probably filmed, I don't know if they did or not, but being Guy Pearce, he's quite method when he needs to be.
Because his cheeks do look far more skeletal
Gaunt,
and
yeah.
such. Yeah. It could just easily be makeup and bigger clothes, but it's always that one. Okay, who among the audience still has a pocket watch?
I'm not a hipster, no.
That's what I was aiming at.
Do you have one, Dom?
Somewhere, yeah. But I only use it for like costumes for Halloween and such. I don't use it routinely. My
I've got to
watch is
admit,
technological.
this is a gorgeous prop.
Oh yes, this is incredible. All the brass and glass.
It's a bit kind of
Tubes.
steampunky and...
Yeah. Time traveler's best item in the book, says Hell If I Know, was a book of matches.
I just love the look of this because it's high tech for the era, but it's really not. But it is,
Clean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is hipstery. Why would you have a hexagonal frame?
I don't think he's maybe a hipster of the era. That's. I think though it's good that he's got a motivation to build the time machine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm more simplistic. I don't know. I love this. Oh, great! You've got to smack the dials to free them. It's got a few quirks to it as well. I miss films where someone has a big over the top contraption.
I think Phonic's saying it well. It's stylish like the DeLorean. They
Yeah.
must have taken inspiration from Back to the Future. Like, in just physical design alone, like,
Oh yeah.
the reveal of the titular time machine is pleasant. You get hyped to see it. And
Yeah.
seeing all the parts move as well, just that, it just tapers your disbelief just enough where you think this could work, this could be real. And of course, that score is beautiful.
Yeah. But one thing I like is when they do time travel in this film, the way that it's always perceived is the time travel is stationary. The time machine is stationary, which is a nice thing compared to a lot of films. The time machine never moves because it's only traveling through time. But the world changes. When you see time travel happen, the world changes around the time machine.
Mm. Johnny Devick. Hope he arrives in the First Contact timeline.
What, everyone's Borg? Victorian Borg. I'd like to see that.
Good day, sir. I'm Locutus of Borg. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Hell if I know, saying the shot focusing on the watch hands going backwards instead of the time machine slowly is right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a bit Final Destination. Oh, hell if I know, that's a bit deep. What moment would you guys go back to try and change? I don't know if I'll go into that proper one, into a proper reason. I'll work out a comedy one in a minute.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm a guy who lives in regrets, like, day in, day out, so there's plenty of things I'd change.
Well, James is saying tedious love story and you can't change the past nonsense. No. Yeah, Mad Matt's saying how many versions of himself are trying not to be seen here.
The thing about time travel films, or time travel media in general, you can do it the scientific way, which, as I've experienced, is always dull and boring and engaging on an intellectual level, but entertainment, it's not really. Or the Back to the Future way of, yeah, it doesn't make much sense, but it's fun. And that's what I prefer. Primer is what I'm talking about when it's intellectual and it's stimulating on that regard. But from an entertainment perspective, I found it to be very dry. I don't think I could watch it more than 2 times. It's a slog. But it's engaging on an intellectual sense where you're like, shit, this seems logical. This could happen.
So he's actually put her in a carriage and taken her quite a distance away from the park to try to get her away from the guy into an area with a lot of people around.
Because this is gonna be fine. It won't backfire even remotely.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
There is an anime called Steins Gate that's based on some kind of video game, I think, a visual novel, which does time travel in a similar regard. But the main character sends his consciousness back to a previous version of himself to try and alter the future. And there is a moment that I'm guessing is going to be very similar to this, where a loved one dies, and he does everything he can to change it, and time seems to stop him from changing it again and again and again and again.
Well, James is saying Back to the Future's time travel makes sense and is logical within that film. You can change the past.
But from a logical perspective...
I know, that's the Avengers time travel method, isn't it? You can't change the past because the past becomes your future becomes your new past.
Yeah. This is the time travel paradox.
Yeah.
Because if you change what happened in the past that causes you to go back into the past to change it, so that it never happened, you won't go in the past to change it. Therefore, It will happen. Therefore, you will go back in time to change it. It's a paradox.
Correct.
Bill and Ted got it right. They did. Yeah, Bill and Ted is one of the movies that's weirdly consistent with time travel. Oh, I love that stock scream. I love how the chat is just getting into time travel mechanics.
Yeah. But now she's died in another horrific way.
The universe...
Predestination paradoxes, I believe they call it.
Yeah.
where an
The
event will
universe
always
just
happen.
hates this woman.
Yeah. So, or a fixed point in the Doctor Who world where she has to die one way or another.
Yep. How much of those events, like in terms of different media, I mentioned Steins Gate, we've mentioned Terminator and several other things, but this particular phenomenon of the time travel issue of you can't change certain events, what's your favorite like version of that story?
Well, being unable to change the past.
Yeah, but the character struggles again and again and again to try and just ultimately fails and has to come to terms with the fact that some things can't be changed.
I think probably one of this film, actually, for me.
Because it hits in a very particular way, doesn't it?
Yeah, here we go. This is the realization I could come back 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's got his motivation. Because, yeah, he can't be there anymore, he's saying.
Hell, if I know the multiple timelines theory, that's the theory that Steins Gate goes with. There's like a huge multiverse, and there's like very slight differences in timelines. That's one way to avoid the time travel paradox. You go to a different version of reality.
And the score starts to lift up a bit. I love that it's the score in this one's one of the things I love here. And okay. It's even got the Victorian step on it with a bit with a leather cord. But the time
His
travel
neighbor must hate him.
The time travel sequences on this they look so beautiful.
We're getting profound with the chat today, aren't we? Mortal Rimus. Some say time is like a river, as you could throw a stone into the middle of it, disrupting it, but eventually it always course corrects itself. We're going to be talking about the Langoliers soon, aren't we?
Yeah. So if you see, he's separate from the outside world, effectively. He'd only be appearing in flashes.
Yeah.
But I love seeing the world. It's the fact you watch the world
change
around him rapidly, rather than the time machine instantly just jumping. You see the progress throughout the years. I like that. That's a really nice shot showing the fashions updating the shop
showing
window.
How fashion changes. Go long enough and it starts to become cyclical.
Oh, look. And his hand has aged however much now. Yeah. His fingernails grew. This is something I really like. It shows New York being born. Exactly, Mad Matt. Luckily, no one needed to use the space that the time machine occupied.
The future is now. I'd love for the transatlantic accent to come back. And everyone suddenly starts talking like an old-timey radio.
Well, yeah. 2030.
The long off year of 2030.
Yes.
So get ready, folks. In a few years' time.
6 years' time. Hang on, is it May 2nd, 2030, the date?
Yeah, I think.
Wow, we're literally just...
We're weirdly...
we're nearly there.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
The Neil Armstrong Open on the moon. James is saying he prefers time after time with the story. Yeah. Sharon saying, who'd want to live on the moon? I don't know, maybe for a fresh start. Actually, that outfit she's wearing isn't that futuristic if you see a lot of cyclists these days. With kind of the webbing and the bodysuit.
If you look at everyone around her just dressing normally, and then she's just a cyclist.
I can't think of anything that could possibly go wrong about
nuking the moon.
Nuking the moon.
Nah, nothing could possibly go wrong. Definitely wouldn't cause...
James is saying time after time would make a good watch party with H.G. Wells' Track the Ripper and Time Travel. Well, guess what, James? Before this watch party, we agreed to do time after time next week. So you've got your wish.
We were having that exact discussion.
We're saying it would make a good kind of two-parter.
I do love the science fiction mumbo jumbo speak that always gets in these movies.
Yeah.
What did she say? Make sure your micro something.
Well, effectively, they're iPads, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have not perfected mind control over us, James. We actually do have holograms very similar to that now.
Yeah, creepiest. I saw it at CES one year, and it was freaky.
Well, I bet
there's
a load in Vegas lobbies and things, isn't there?
Yeah. Go into the Sphere, and there's animatronics as well that talk to you. I also love Orlando Jones.
Don't see him as much these days, do we?
No. I always think of Evolution whenever I see him, though.
Yeah. Yes, Mad Matt, we'll have that as well. We'll have an Evolution watch party at some point. Which, let's be honest, Evolution is really the third Ghostbusters film.
It is. And canonically in my head, it's a sequel to the X-Files. Mulder just wandered off and became a shill for Head and Shoulders, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said pornography for a second there. I was like, all right, he's on.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how the hologram's bored.
It's ChatGPT.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, why are you pulling up Harlan Ellison? That's just depressing stuff.
See, it actually references the movie.
Yeah.
sarcastic AI hologram.
I love
This
it.
is the future I want.
Isn't that Voyager? Isn't the Doctor
Yep.
a sarcastic hologram? Oh man, your hand's looking gnarly, dude. There we go. Far more distant future of 2037.
2020.
I wonder what happened. Yeah, it just looks like 2020 at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Burnt out cars in the streets. Pieces of moon that have been nuked onto the planet. Is it going to do a Demolition Man and have society completely changed within like a decade?
It's more a case of in so few years in the future, everything's falling apart because the moon is dropping out the sky on the planet.
Yeah, because who'd have thunk nuking the moon's a bad idea?
Oh dear. I'm not saying at least you can get some Taco Bell. I'd be going to the far future to get away from Taco Bell.
That's what we'd do. We'd go back in time to change them from changing the KFC recipe. Keep it greasy and delicious.
Oh.
Oh
dear, you push the lever all the way forwards. But again, another beautiful sequence. Speed. Because, of course, the damage to the planet was so great that effectively it's re-terraforming itself.
Mm-hmm. We've had a few instances, the mass extinction instances of planet Earth.
The thing is, it wouldn't take much if a big chunk of the moon did drop on the planet. We'd all be gone.
Oh, absolutely.
Mad Matt's saying this is like when I fall asleep watching one movie and wake up in the middle of another. Yeah, blowing up the moon, James, would just wreck the planet. Yeah, because the plan was, it said they were just trying to blast away subterranean chunks of it.
What's wrong with digging?
Yeah.
What's wrong with a good old-fashioned shovel and elbow grease?
Because it's not as fast, is it? And you don't get the money as quick.
All right, get 2 shovels with elbow grease.
I like the fact the Time Machine's also got a very nice clear system for the years.
Oh, it's beautiful. They thought of having like 4 or 5 digits back then, but like in Y2K, no one thought about having 4 digits.
That's right. Now, James will know who this actress is. Even if
James.
Well, James Hellier will probably recognise her because she's not famous anymore, but she was a pop star in the UK. That's Samantha Mumba. She was quite popular in the late 90s, early 2000s in the UK as a pop star. Hell if I know, why would he have so many cylinders on this machine if he's planning to travel millions? He was planning to travel for millions of years in the future. He just liked to account for any possibility. He strikes me as the kind of guy who was like, well, we can add 5 digits. No, I'll add 15 just for the sake of it.
Yeah, just in case. Ugh.
And this is where now, as I stand on before the watch party, a lot of this gets very Avatar. The score becomes excessively Avatar, and the way they live and things is similar. Sharon saying he could have gone back in time a million years. That's true. Maybe he wanted to see dinosaurs. Maybe he thought he was going to save his fiancée, and then we're going to go back in time and have a T-Rex perform the wedding ceremony.
If you could, I would.
Yeah.
I believe I've asked this before. I think I have anyway. But what period of time and which area of the world would you like to go back to experience at least a week of? Like, if you could be a time vacationist, where would you go?
Where'd I go? I don't know, really. By the way, that's Samantha Mumba's real life younger brother.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, if our audience isn't like, the 80s, yeah, then do we even have...
in the Cretaceous period? I don't know. The problem is, if I go most places in the past beyond about the 50s, I'll be burned as a witch or something.
I'm left-handed and require insulin. I definitely will be burnt as a witch.
Johnny, you'd want to go back to 1998 to buy Apple stock.
It's always interesting to see the answers. Like, either you want to go see famous events, or you want to scam the system and get rich.
Avatar.
Sorry? Bless you, Andrew.
Music.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is very...
Yeah.
How did no one call this out when Avatar came out?
Beautiful score, though. It's production design's great. The thing is, though, this is actually quite interesting, because even if they did speak, they could actually be speaking just an evolved form of English. Because they already said that a modern person speaking modern English would struggle to speak English to someone from 500 years ago. And if we're talking hundreds of thousands of years of language evolution... Yes, James, or a devolved form of English they're speaking.
Esperanto. The one language that's going to survive the apocalypse is Esperanto.
You do know there's a film with William Shatner speaking Esperanto.
Of course there is. And of course it's Bill Shatner that's speaking. Oh, gee, thanks, love. Wandering idiot.
Oh, Landa, welcome. Saying Middle English isn't that hard to understand. It's, to be honest, it's pre-1450s where it gets tricky.
Immortal Rumor says if they had a time machine, they'd travel to whatever the year Cyberpunk 2077 is and upgrade themselves, travel back in time to watch all the great films upon original releases. That's interesting. So you go forward to upgrade and then just go watch movies with your upgrades. Would you have the mantis arms to eat your popcorn with? No. Yeah.
That's true. James is saying a horror film with William Shatner speaking Esperanto badly because they had no Esperanto speakers on the production. We're not doing a watch party for that, James.
The upgrades would protect you from the primitives of each time. You said you're going back to watch movies. What primitives are you fighting?
I find this concept interesting that because of the tragedy that happened, and I don't know, people lost everything. We lost the technology. They're kind of reinventing rope ladders and things. It's kind of, there's been a reset, and everyone's having to learn everything again.
Yeah.
But now here's the deep question for everyone in the chat and for you, Dom: are these people better off?
Probably. It's like technological evolution. The good ideas will stick around. The bad ones probably die off.
Tomorrow we will ride a banshee.
You will learn to ride.
Yeah, I know, James. They're cattle.
It's very ambient, beautiful ideas for living quarters. It would suck if you got a fear of heights, though.
Yeah, but I suppose that's awesome. I love seeing the moon like that, though, and that's how the moon's settled.
Like a shattered moon.
Yeah. But again, score.
It's beautiful. And Avatarian.
Yeah, it is, Johnny. The design on this is lovely.
Their clay, like china pots that they're making, they're very nice. I'm surprised.
They are,
that,
but unfortunately, they just served him. They just served him Yoo-hoo.
Oh,
it survived to the future.
They sustain themselves purely on, I don't know, diet iron brew. It's the only thing that survived.
It's not even Chocomel, it was Yoo-hoo that survived.
Ooh, this is a fun transition.
It's like there's a scary jungle. Yes.
Are you telling me that Rubit dinosaurs are going to be coming out soon? Because
yes,
how have I not had this film in my life if Rubit dinosaurs are going to be coming out
Sadly
soon?
not. Sadly not. There's no stone dinosaurs in the film. Yeah, exactly, Sharon. Tried Yoo-hoo once. Once was enough.
Mad Matt wasn't that reptile from Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Actually, I'm going to go and spin this. In the world of this film, the Eloy based their society on this ancient film called Avatar they discovered.
That was the basis of their society.
It's a paradox.
I mean, yeah, when we're talking about a time travel movie, we can't. That makes sense. It fits. The franchise of Avatar with its several movies. It's like Futurama. They have shared dreams, and it's commercials.
Exactly, Immortal Avatar was a historical document akin to Galaxy Quest.
Yes, the historical documents. The archives. That's pristine for something that's 5 millennia.
It is, but there you go. And you can see bits of things have been recovered.
All right. Let's take our bets, those who haven't seen the film, which is me, I guess. What crucial bit of information from the past has been heavily misinterpreted? Like the god of Coca-Cola or something, like everyone worshipped, Tiffany. Tiffany was a goddess of beauty and expense.
Tiffany
and breakfast.
Tiffany taught us that we think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Just like the ruins in Logan's Run, yeah. God, Logan's Run's a fun one as well. I say fun. Depressing. They use bottle caps as currency. Oh, if only. I got spurs and all they jingle jangle. They worshipped the soothsayer called Mystic Meg, who told them the lottery numbers. Wait, didn't Mystic Meg come on before the lottery each night? I genuinely can't remember.
She died a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. What's interesting is, though, he's effectively in what was New York, because we know the time machine doesn't move.
Mm-hmm.
The climate has shifted massively.
Well, the continent shifted as well. You saw the continents all squiggly, squabbly. And yeah, we've got a totally different environment now.
Yeah, it's almost kind of tropical, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, is it tropical? Kind of. Well, exactly, Sharon. That's a really good point. It's always a mystery when you pluck something out of the past and have no understanding or circumstance to understand it. I mean, that's so true, because you see it even on social media. You see on Facebook, people post a picture of some random item from the past that was commonplace, and it's like, what is this for? And it's like, no, it's not for that.
I wonder what this crazy device is.
It could be a mortal reminiscent. New York must be on the equator at this point in the film. Yeah, it's probably moved quite a bit. I mean, it could even be the continent shifted. The world could have tilted on its axis.
Mm-hmm. Carousel. It is Logan's Run.
It's a bad place. We must never go there.
The accent was slipping through a little bit there.
Yes, well, they are. She's Irish, and that's because that's her brother. He's Irish as well. So it's with Eloy from Ireland. So the Irish will take over the earth.
I mean, yeah, probably.
To be fair, Eloy sounds like an Irish word.
Name, yeah, it does, yeah. Where's the landmaster when you need it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Sharon. New York's gorgeous again without all the people. Now, here's the question. If he went back with where the time machine is now, obviously the land would move back and things, I guess. But I don't know. Would he reappear in the middle of the air somewhere or something? Or would he gradually go down with the land as it reformed as it was? I don't know. But I suppose he would go back to his original point, because it's a fixed because the land would move back to where it was.
Yeah, this is another problem with time travel because of universal like time space. Things move, and unless you're traveling in time and space, then I hate my little brother. He's a pain in the ass. Get rid of him.
Take my brother away from here.
The New York locals, the natives.
Yeah. They survived.
This is another interesting concept, though. Like a lot of time travel stories where a character is totally misplaced. I'm thinking like Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
So far into the future that Lister is arguably the equivalent of the scum that crawled out of the ocean to what humanity could have evolved into. But would they? Or would they be the Morlocks like this?
But who says but do the Morlocks have a common ancestry with humans, or are they another creature that evolved into the Morlocks?
Yeah.
I kind of think they're more likely they are another creature that has evolved into the Morlocks. Because don't forget, we aren't the first predominant species on this planet.
True. Hey, more stock screaming. A lot of stock screaming.
Yep.
Oh, they're people from New Jersey, aren't they? That's
That's right.
I'm recognizing the chiseled like shoulder muscles. Yeah. They're people from the Jersey Shore that have evolved.
Well, James is saying no. Apparently, after the war or disaster, humanity retreated underground shelters. Some stayed there, while others returned to the surface. Yeah, that's probably true, James. That because don't forget, your environment is the biggest impact of evolution.
Yeah. They lassoed him quick.
Yeah. And James saying the ones who stayed in the safety of the shelters became the Morlocks.
Hey, Paulie, I got me a fresh one.
Yeah. It's interesting to see what happened to them underground. Because what caused them to evolve in a different way underground? I mean, they've got bigger eyes, so we know from evolution, creatures with bigger eyes tend to be ones in that live in low light. So the Morlocks live underground, etc. So they're going to be more susceptible to bright lights because you have a larger eye to absorb more light into it.
Yeah.
But what's with the jumping?
Yeah, maybe the underground cave system that they all evolved from required huge leaps. I still say it's folks from the Jersey Shore, and they're just roided out to oblivion to attract mates.
This is what happens when you drink too much Monster.
Monster Energy, that's their only source.
No, all that happened was their parents drank Monster. They were human before.
While pregnant, yeah.
That's possibly true as well. Sharon, maybe society disintegrated some nukes. There probably was radioactive fallout as well, though, from the moon. It would make sense that it was a radiated rock that fell.
Space rock, yeah.
Quite nice creature work and everything. The set building's lovely on this.
Yeah, I was going to say the creature design is pretty cool. I like that they went for masks with a bit of animatronic work there.
And some CGI.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some shaky CG, but it's forgivable.
But bear in mind, this is 22 years ago this was made.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel very old.
Yep. Like I said, I saw the Brendan Fraser's The Mummy in the cinema like 2 days ago, and noticing that's a 25th anniversary is just...
Exactly. Well, Mortimer is saying, but also imagine that the shift of the orbit of the Earth probably caused various nuclear things to go off too. That's true.
Yeah.
Or even nuclear reactors. Don't forget nuclear reactors on the planet and things with the massive earthquakes and things would have... Yeah, because you've got to remember, the Earth possibly would have had a nuclear winter across the surface and into it, and from all the nuclear stuff there, from all the plants, reactors cracking open, stored facilities, etc. Yeah, I would agree with you, Johnny, that the palette in the future is a bit constricted, but I guess maybe that's in the future. The light maybe has a slightly different hue to it. Have they made them Irish as well? They have. They've kind of given them
It's the day
Irish...
and the night, yeah.
It's the day and the night.
Totally unrealistic. Well, give the Irish a wee nip of the...
Yeah, there'll be a fight.
Just give them a Guinness.
We're not supposed to talk about it.
That's the secret to like, because everyone has like a fighting montage, like a Dune, the David Lynch version when Carl McLachlan teaches everyone to fight. Just give them Guinness. That's the training montage, just getting them drunk.
Well, Johnny's saying it's the descendants of golems after hitting the gym.
The roided out golems, yeah, the yoked golems. Oh, are you saying that they're all the nerds, the basement dwelling nerds that didn't come out and stayed indoors?
His name's Amero Mumba.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen like a McDonald's or a Starbucks or something like that. I suppose if this film was made today, we would.
Well, yeah, but it'd still be a box of uneaten filet of fishes in the freezer of that McDonald's.
Yeah, that's still edible.
It's still edible from... Do you know it's a scientific fact that every McDonald's is issued a box of filet of fish on the day they open? And they still have that same box because no one orders them.
I thought you were going to say it's like a nuclear bunker. Like every McDonald's is like a fallout vault that we can just go into.
Every McDonald's has a frozen box of the filet of fishes.
Ah.
Oh, here we go. But the AI has changed, hasn't he? He's become a bit more sheepish and eager to help.
Too sweaty. Ah, yes.
Criminology, then, Martha Stewart.
Criminology! No, her best friend is Snoop Dogg. It's all going to be about smoking the perfect joint.
Sharon's saying it's odd they aren't more technically advanced than this. Is it? Is it really? Because think about it this way: how many years it took us after humans started, basically at that level, to starting to have technology. But Phonic, yeah, it's his AI's gone a bit crazy. I think he's starting to have a bit of a breakdown.
The Irish and the Scottish.
Phonic's saying, though, why is the AI still working if there's no electricity? Maybe solar powered? Maybe they gave him a nuclear reactor or something. That's true, James. The Eloy haven't needed to evolve. The Morlocks have kept them fed and happy, as we do with our cattle.
Yeah. Oh, Calvert's saying he was nuclear earlier. Well, he was saying that he was nuclear.
Mm. Now, this is a very interesting thing, I think, with the AI. And again, for us here, where we've got AI, where maybe it starts to near a level of sentience to it, where effectively it will be eternal. Will it start to, it will remember people from 800,000 years ago?
I don't believe we're capable of creating such technology, because my Google search history can't remember the bloody search I made 2 weeks ago. It can't remember my bloody passwords. It always forgets them. It's
some AI is getting really good.
Yeah, it is. Has ChatGPT tried to kill me yet? I mean, in ways, my Google Maps keeps trying to make me drive into power plants and stuff. So yeah,
maybe it wants you to gain superpowers.
Maybe. I think a superpowered Dom is too dangerous for this world. I have so much spite.
Or maybe turn you into some kind of a turbo teen type thing, which is a bit scary. Which is basically fuse you with your vehicle, and then when you got when you got warm, you would turn into like a wear vehicle, and then when you got cold, you'd turn back into you. It was a cartoon. It's very popular for a while. And I think that's probably what it's trying to do. You just need a lot of nuclear radiation to do it, Dom.
So, oh, grand! Yeah, let's go find the closest reactor. Probably New Jersey.
Have comedic situations as well, though, Dom.
Oh yeah,
like watching films and the aircon goes off in the cinema.
Oh no!
You turn into your truck, kind of thing, sat there.
My Ford Expedition. Randall Flagg had nukes in Vegas. Yeah, he did. I'll never forgive you, you little Irish child.
Yeah, why would they take his watch? Even this film feels like a film of the era. They don't make films of this has a very early 2000s kind of vibe to it, and it's kind of, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's got that kind of, I don't know why they just don't seem to make things like this anymore.
It's
in the style.
It's a phenomena that's difficult to pin down. I think it's the level of exploration is more based on the world and less of the personality. And nowadays, it's more like an introspective exploration and arguably a political, like, uh, stance. And it grounds things very much in the time period. Like this, it's almost ironic that this film came out at this time. Like you said, at the very beginning, it was a time of like technological exploration and everyone was
Yeah.
trying to find the next greatest thing. And the turn of the century in the year 2000 was the same. Everyone was like
Yeah.
excited about what the future could be.
It almost
Everything was
encapsulates that
2000.
kind of internet and multimedia trend that exploded.
Yeah.
Who was I talking to? I was talking to a friend actually today, and I was saying, I was thinking, the way technology's come on is quite incredible. My Something as simple as my internet connection at home now. So back in the days, I mean, I was using modems before we had 56k modems, but my current internet connection now at home, in the space of 25 years, is now 1.6 million times faster.
That's a number.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It really is. But it's just like the technology of this computer in my
Yeah,
hand, and going back to when computers were like first created, these giant gargantuan systems, and now we got
yeah.
far greater technology in like
Well,
our pockets all the time.
my phone here is more powerful than my very expensive, enormous computer I had 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And again, it's a magnitude more powerful. Even 10 years ago. Well, exactly, Johnny, exactly. Storage has gone up like crazy. The technology has just accelerated at such an exponential rate. But I don't feel any of it's got the hype and excitement, because it's all technology now is an evolution. Back then, it was a revolution.
Yeah,
I'd say
it was a
revolution's
step
a word.
forward. It's same
It
with
was new things, new technologies, because ultimately my network connection has evolved since then,
yeah.
but there's not a lot of new innovation coming out in the world. Oof.
It's like video games. Like when you
Mm.
go from 8-bit to 16-bit in like 3D, it was a huge
Yeah.
technological leap. But now it's not a leap, it's more like running up a hill. You can see the gradual improvements, but it's less mind-boggling to see.
Mm.
I
James,
am
that's
kind of in
true.
more
The
of a
film's
pessimistic
greatest
zone.
misstep, the downfall of man and our flaws don't need a figurehead, making it one Morlock diminishes it. Yeah, hell if I know. Well, the Morlocks, you see, aren't into recycling. That's why they're not using the bones for something.
Okay, the design of this set is gorgeous.
Yeah. And I know it's cliched to say it now. I'm enjoying it's a real set.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
Well, James is saying, why would you recycle when you have fresh Eloy on hand? Well, we use their bones for something useful, not to chuck them in a pit. But again, that could also be seen, James, joking as we are here, that could be seen as almost a commentary on the whole recycling thing, because the Eloy seem a lot more environmentally friendly, fitting in with their surroundings, living in the harmony of nature, etc. And the Morlocks are using them as a disposable resource for one thing.
I'm now very concerned as to why Jeremy Irons has this lass locked in a cage in front of him. Oh, you're the nerds.
Mm.
So the nerds do inherit the world.
Yeah, and the geek shall inherit the earth.
Yes. I was what was known as a Trekkie back in the day. I could recite the ancient texts of Doctor Who novels. I knew them all.
I saw all 18 episodes of Battlestar Galactica.
I fought in the great debate of Star Wars versus Star Trek. Oh, your exposed spine, dude. No. Oh, put it away. Put a little cape on it or something. Blech. Months.
Yeah.
They're apparently gluttonous freaks as well.
It's interesting though, because you are seeing that a lot of it's an alien. It's kind of an alien world, but not.
Yeah. What if? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, that's the two most terrible words for a lot of people, probably myself included in some ways, because you always wonder about how things could be different. I apologise, James. There were 22 episodes of Battlestar Galactica. I'm not an Uber-Morlock.
We'd be some of the cattle. We wouldn't
I
make
would
it.
be. Yeah.
That would be the most horrifying thing, actually. If you go back in time to like the Victorian era to try and flex your intellectual muscle around and get schooled by like the nerds of that era,
Yeah.
like your mathematics gets totally dominated. It's like, oh wow, I realize I'm an idiot, even with future knowledge.
Oh, this is the worst thing you could be doing to him.
Yeah.
Basically showing him what he's lost.
This is what you could have, but you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not just what he doesn't have, or it's what he can never have.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yep. Causality loop. So even if he went back in time to the 1800s and had 900,000 years to avert this, it wouldn't matter. This would still happen.
A lovely nihilistic film where sometimes you have to just observe and you can't do anything.
Oh, I just realised that the spines on his back flex. They move.
Yep.
They go up and down his breathing. Oh, I don't like that.
What a weak spot, though. Just punch him in the spine. Just give him a bit of a rattle.
I think it's a nice design. No, I think he breathes through his spine through them. If you look how they're flexing, it's like he breathes through it.
Go on, play him like a set of bagpipes. Just screw with him.
Oh, it's still beautiful, the machine, the design of it.
It is. Yeah, he is. I saw a comment earlier that he was dressed kind of in fetish gear. He does kind of look Cenobite-y, just a touch.
He does a bit. His cast worshipped the works of Clive Barker.
I was about to say, yeah. I wish I never starred in
What?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Some of his dialogue, though.
Oh, it's profound.
Memories being time machines. Memories are time machines that take you back, and dreams are the time machine that takes you forward.
Now we have to have our dumb action sequence for this profound...
Yeah, that's the only thing.
An Uber-Morlock bar in Sin City. Do you mean like a nerd bar?
Wow.
It's called The Nerd. Ow. That's not fair. A nerd that's jacked as well.
Yeah, exactly. How did I know the Uber-Morlock was trying to be peace? To be fair, the Uber-Morlock was going to give him the watch back and let him go back to his own time. This is where it gets very Hollywood.
I was about to say, yeah. The audience needs to have a fight scene at the end. The bad guy can't win.
Oh, it's got steam in the machine. That's wonderful. It's partially steam powered. Yeah. I'm here siding with the Nazi Uber-Morlock. Yes. He'd really be in trouble if he didn't dissolve, like age, wither, and dissolve, and he evolved into an even tougher Morlock.
Right, he just gets bigger and stronger.
Yeah. Oh, Calbart, I think that's comment of the night. Have some steampunk.
Have some steam, punk.
Okay, how far into the future has he gone now? It's literally the planet like disintegrating.
Light of creation, is that you?
Oh, to the year 6 billion and something or other. 6
Classic
billion, 3 million and... Oh. So the Morlocks open their own Disney World. There's the castle in the background, see?
Welcome to Morlock Disney. Would you like some human skull with your soda pop? Wait, what was the beverage that you said has survived the apocalypse?
Yoo-hoo. James says in the book he goes forward to the end. He goes forwards to watch the end of the world when the sun goes supernova.
Yeah.
Nah, he's figured out there is a way to change the future.
Destroy the machine.
So if he performs genocide and kills all the Morlocks,
there can't be any Morlocks to open Morlock Disneyland.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I agree with the genocide. Because that's essentially what he's doing.
Yeah. That's why they had to be completely dehumanized and monstrous without any positive or even neutral traits. They are monstrous,
we
barbaric,
have to wipe every
evil.
single one of them from existence.
Mm-hmm. James put it very succinctly. The message of the film: genocide is good if the victims are bad.
Okay, that also means they're eating Eloy if there's all blood around their faces at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So any Eloy who are being held prisoner in those caves are also going to perish.
Gee, I hope someone rescues us from this cannibal pit and doesn't detonate a nuclear device.
Doesn't detonate a steampunk time machine.
I swear a time bomb is something somewhere. I've heard the phrase before. Okay, the unsteady cam is being used a bit too heavily here.
Bit much, yeah. Why did he feel the need to throw his jacket down the pit?
That's what I was about to say. Oh, because they're smelling him, I guess? Oh, that didn't work. It distracted him for half a second.
James, you mean Morlock World, don't you? Yes, I'd be tucking into an Eloy burger in my vacation or in Morlock World.
It is a time bomb.
Yep. Let's not call it that. It's genocide bomb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally erasing them from existence by aging them beyond belief. And their whole cave network and everyone in there. Yep. That's genocide.
And we thought nuking the moon was a bad idea. Are we the baddies?
I think so.
Hang on, didn't they say without the mind control they're gonna completely eradicate their own source of food within a month or several months?
They did. However, they've just killed the entire race. So every one of their predators is now dead. So effectively, if the Eloy are not the apex, they've killed the apex predator. There's going to be a problem on the planet now.
Yeah, there's a power vacuum. This is when the aliens come down and like, all right, lads, we need to step in. Some arsehole with a time machine fucked everything up.
Well, Johnny's saying we just need a locomotive to build a new time machine. But Immortals is saying, have to admit, it's a creative way to kill by excessive advanced aging, yes.
Yeah. Of course, it'd be Twain.
Yeah.
When we all know it should be the works of Clive Barker.
This is another scene I really like.
How has Guy Pearce's outfits just got sexier as the film has gone on?
He found a way. I like this though,
because we see what happened post disappearance. Yeah,
but I also like the way it's overlaid.
Yeah, it's beautifully done. He was an asshole. I like Grandma. I'm glad that she is still employed.
Yep.
Selfish Alexander didn't care about anyone else in his life.
Nope. Well, he didn't have anyone else really.
He had Mrs. Watchit.
Mrs. Watchit. Yeah. Yeah, but she had the motherly thing. She just wanted him to be happy.
Now we need the post-credit stinger of him coming back saying, Miss Watchit, it's your kids! They've got to go back to the future.
Yeah.
They become the Morlocks!
No, it's kind of nice though. You just see technology kind of starting to move on a bit outside. Yeah. And he is actually taking on, if you look, that's one of the things Alexander said to him about throwing your hat away. Which again is an evolution of society, because we moved away largely from wearing hats.
Yeah. So they're going to come back at some point.
Oh, yeah, exactly. There we go. And that was the film. We'll take comments of everyone on The Time Machine. Dom, we'll start with you.
That was fun. That was a fun movie.
I'd say it falls apart towards the end a bit, but all the stuff in the past and the near future, I think, is great.
Yeah.
I just think the ending is a bit cobbled on, but then it's got so many really good bits in it, like the ending scene with showing the past and the future overlaid with each other. It's got a great score. Yeah. Your summary, Dom.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a departure from the original source material. Definitely. But it's a very early 2000s movie, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I did deeply enjoy watching this film. It was fun, it was cute, it was oddly a look at yesteryear for me.
Yeah.
It was just very pleasant and weirdly optimistic, despite the fact that it harkens to the idea of everything falls to shit in the end. I like it.
A great score as well. The score is just one of my all-time favourites. I think it's such a really nice score. But here we go. Let's go through some of the comments of the community. Let me just check where we're up to. Okay. Halifino says, an awesome ending scene by Mark Addy. Sharon saying this is why we shouldn't attempt time travel by advice made at home. So Dom. Johnny says, I wouldn't mind a TV series about this with more seasons about the Morlocks. Phonic, better than I remember, quite a fun movie. Sharon, good fun, liked it a lot. Halifino, first time in a long time rewatching that. And I feel the ending is still kind of tragic, that there is where a future is, but great music and decent themes. Jedi Wizard, not bad, definitely a product of its time. Wife's cheese rating, Kraft American cheese slices, neither good nor bad, it is there. Johnny, I liked it, a bit bland in the third act. The other characters don't get any time to shine. It's a one-man show, but a good, but a bit little memorable. Calbot, not bad. The 1960s film is better. Anyone remember the adaptation from 1978? James, poor stuff, nowhere as good as the original. Powell film, it didn't do anything better. It didn't turn out the novel more faithfully. It makes its own additions that made it worse. Mad Matt, thought-provoking until the end. Immortal Romance, I liked it, but I really want English works to be more faithfully adapted and set in England. We've lost too many of our icons as the Time Machine and the Lord of the Rings to Hollywood. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think the New York thing didn't hurt it massively, but I agree with you there as well. So that was the Time Machine. I had a great time watching that tonight with you all. And we can just see there, industrial light and magic. Yeah, well, we know the quality of the effects there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So we will be back in 7 days, and as we said earlier, we will be watching. We're going to bit of a H.G. Wells kind of follow on from this. We're going to be watching I think it's 1979. James, keep me honest. I think it's the 1979 film anyway. Time After Time with David Warner and Malcolm McDowell, with H.G. Wells and Jack the Ripper travelling through time.
Classic.
Exactly. So it's going to be great. So we will be back. Oh, James. All right, I like Mac and me. Okay. Anyway, I'll be back Dom and I will be back in 7 days, and we hope you are too, to watch Time After Time. So for the next 7 days, please be kind, be safe, look after each other, put positivity out into the world. As Sharon says, do not make any time machines at home if you can avoid it. But until then, we'll see you then. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.